probably the best rivalry in Major League Soccer, the Seattle Sounders and the Portland Timbers. That game is going on. Our coverage, again, starts Sunday at 2:30 on Fox. Brad Evans of the Seattle Sounders joins us. Brad, my name is Nick Wright. I am filling in for Colin. How are you this morning?
What's going on, Nick? Doing good, doing good.
All right, so I was doing some research on you yesterday, and everything that didn't have to do with soccer had to do with you and dogs. So let's talk about this. So are you just an animal guy, a dog person? Tell me about this.
I am just an animal guy, but since I have my own dog, obviously I am partial to him. It's pretty funny. We'll be walking around the dog park, and you know, we have a big soccer community here, a massive soccer community. But he is the one who gets recognized first when we're at the dog park. So I'd like to think that he's the man.
What type of dog are we talking about here?
Golden Retriever, 6.5 years old.
6.5-year-old. I feel like that is the Golden Retriever. You're an expert on this. Are they the one seed? Is like
they are the one seed. Yeah. Nothing touches them. He is the ultimate family dog. He's the confidant for my wife and I. And number one, he's the stress reliever after a tough result. He's happy to see you no matter what.
What about, we're talking to Brad Evans of Seattle Sounders. If the Golden Retriever's the one seed, are we going with the Labradors as the 2 seed, or am I overlooking something?
No, I'd say the Lab's up there. But you know, everybody on our team's is partial to a certain breed, so you know, you have to ask those guys who's number 2. But number 2 is definitely Labrador.
16 seeds a Labradoodle. They're in the play-in game.
Yeah,
we're out. We're out on them. All right, so Brad, you mentioned there's a big soccer community in Seattle. The Pacific Northwest has been great for Major League Soccer. I'm from Kansas City, and I know you've played there, like that, or played in that stadium. That's a great soccer community as well. But really, in the United States, the Pacific Northwest for Major League Soccer has been outstanding. What is the rivalry like between you and the Portland Timbers? You guys are the Seattle Sounders and the Portland Timbers.
I think you're spot on. I think the Northwest is the pivotal market right now when you talk about rivalries, crowds, and what makes it so special is the proximity of the teams. One of our former players was just here, Andy Rose, who plays in England now, and he said, you know, it's interesting to think because he played here for 5 years, and 3 hours drive is our closest team. In England, you could have 300 teams within that 3-hour drive. So in saying that, this is our hotbed. But there's a lot that goes into it. Obviously, the rich history. When you go back to the NASL days, you had Portland, you had Vancouver, and you had Seattle battling from the 1970s and on. So once you have a rich history in something, you know, you think of the other sports, you know, baseball, football, basketball. The rivalries tend to be those historic teams: Yankees, Boston, Redskins, Cowboys. You know, and history plays a massive part of that.
Brad Evans, Seattle Sounders, they play the Portland Timbers Sunday on Fox. Coverage starts at 2:30. You have a couple dozen, a little more than that, of career appearances with the U.S. men's national team. What do you think of Jurgen Klinsmann as a coach?
You know, I like him. I'm in a little bit of a different seat than everybody else. Everybody's got their own opinions, but for me, Ziggy, my head coach here, has been my only coach throughout my professional career. This is U10 for me, and I've had one head coach, which is, I don't know if that's ever happened in any sport.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very strange, and it's a bit of an anomaly. So for me to get a different experience from a head coach, just different views, different ideas, is something that I relish and something that I cherish. So whether it's good, bad, my tenure with the national team is probably over at this point, which is okay. I had a great run. I think of every game that I played with the national team, I only lost 1 or 2 games. Which is awesome. So in saying that, Jurgen was a big part of that. He trusted in me. He believed in me. And right now, you know, if you would have told fans around the country that the U.S. was going to finish 4th place at a major tournament like Copa America, they would have been like, heck yeah, we'll take that. But as we know, American fans, as we get closer to that point and you end up losing that game, it's like, we could have won the tournament. So you got to take everything with a grain of salt, and he's done a very good job at the helm.
We're talking to Brad Evans of the Seattle Sounders. Again, Sounders play the Timbers Sunday at 2:30. The coverage starts at 2:30 Eastern on Fox. So if you could change one thing about the average American's perception of the MLS, what would it be?
Well, you have to come to a game and experience it for yourself. You can't just be a weekend couch warrior and watch it on TV. Soccer is something that's to be experienced amongst fans, amongst friends, And the environment of an MLS game plays a massive part of that. So if you don't want to support your local team, take a trip out here to Seattle and experience a game, and I can guarantee you that it'll change your mind. It'll change your perception on the sport as a whole. It's very, very different. I think only 5 or 10% of season ticket holders for the Sounders are also season ticket holders for Seahawks. So it's a very different culture. It's a very different fan. But I can tell you that if you come to our game in our facility, you won't regret it, and you'll have a great time. So if you're not going to support your local team, pick one that you think emulates what a major sport should look like, and that is the Seattle Sounders. But it's also in Kansas City, your hometown.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Absolutely rocking.
It's so I can corroborate what you're saying. Like I was not really buying in on the MLS. It took me a while, and Kansas City built, because they were initially playing at Arrowhead and it was bad. They built a brand new stadium, and those fans are so into it. Like it is a really cool experience. However, if you can't go in person, we would love you to watch it on Fox on Sunday. Real quick, so the guy that owns your team or is a part owner is Drew Carey, right?
That's right.
All right, have you met him? Many
times. Drew is an awesome guy and a massive soccer advocate.
Does he consider himself anything of a player?
No. I think he would tell you that straight up, that he is not a player by any means. He is but he's a devout fan of our team. If any player needs anything, let's say you're going to Vegas for the weekend and you like to go to a nice dinner or a nice club, Drew is the first one you call, and he hooks you up. So he treats us really well. If you need anything in LA, you want to go to the show, he hooks you up, he treats you well. So can't say enough about Drew, but also our ownership in general.
That's awesome. It's Brad Evans, Seattle Sounders. They play the Portland Timbers Sunday. The coverage starts at 2:30 Eastern on Fox. Brad, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hope your dog, is it Coto is his name?
Coto is the name.
I hope you and your dog Coto have a great rest of your summer. Thank you, Brad.
Thanks, Nick.